And he says, or, and who is he still talking about? He's still talking about kafaru. He's still talking about the disbelievers or the believers who are not grateful. The believers who don't know what they're really doing. Allah says, it's as if they're on a boat in the middle of a dark sea at night. Where are they?
Dark sea.
On a boat in the middle of a dark sea at night, and then there's storm clouds above. And then there's big waves coming, one after the other. And then eventually this boat capsizes, and this person is plunged into the depth of the darkness of the sea. And on top of him comes a huge wave. Allah uses the word, just give me a second here, Lujjiyin. Lujjiyin is a sea or something that just doesn't give up. It's relentless. It's persistent. Lujjiyin means what? Something that's persistent. It's stubborn. It doesn't give up. So a sea that is just not letting up. Wave after wave after wave is coming. And this person is being plunged deeper and deeper and deeper into the sea. And Allah literally repeats the wave. He says, Mawjum min fawqihi, Mawjum min fawqihi. So a wave, and then on top of that, another wave. So this person, this poor soul has nowhere to go. They're in the middle of a sea at night in the darkness. Their boat capsizes, and they're now plunged into the depth of the sea. And on top of them comes a wave. And then on top of them comes another wave. There's just no way out. There's no way out. And then Allah says on top of that, there's storm clouds. So it's not just wave after wave, but there's a storm coming, or there's a storm happening. And this person is surrounded by darkness. And then Allah says a very, very strange thing. Allah says this person then extends their hand in front of them, and he almost can't see his hand. It's so dark. It's a very, very strange thing that Allah says. He almost can't see his hand. You would think someone who has been plunged deep into a sea, and it's nighttime, it's not even day. There's wave after wave coming on top of them. Then there's storm clouds, so there's not even a moon. Even the moon is gone. Would you think that they would be able to see their hand? But Allah says he can almost not see his hand. Like hardly, he can just see his hand in front of him. It's a beautiful, beautiful parable that Allah gives. And then at the end of the ayah, Allah says, if that person who Allah does not give any light to, there is no light for them. He ends the parable by saying this frightening thing. If Allah doesn't give someone light, then there's no light for them. There's no light for them. So let's just dig a little deep into these two ayah and kind of see what message is Allah giving. So the first example of a person in the middle of a desert who sees a mirage and they think it's water. Is it day or night?
Day.
It's day. And it can't get brighter than a desert in the middle of a day. The desert is the hottest place on earth, right? It's hot, which means it's bright, bright sunlight, powerful sunlight, intense sunlight. There's light all around. What did we say Allah compares light to?
Dark.
Guidance. Allah says light is guidance. So this person is in the middle of the day in the middle of a desert. They're surrounded by light. There's no lack of light anywhere. The parable given here is of a person who is surrounded by good. They're surrounded by guidance. So there are people in life, believers especially, who are in an environment that is good. They live and they breathe in an environment. They're surrounded by good people. They're surrounded by good environments. They're surrounded by good deeds happening. And they themselves think that they are doing good. They themselves feel that they're good, they're pure. Because they live in an environment like that. So, for example, a child or a person or a teenager who lives in a house, the parents are praying, the grandparents are praying, they go to the masjid every Friday or maybe even every prayer, there's Quran being recited. So they live in an environment that is full of light, full of guidance. And maybe even they pray themselves. Maybe even they recite the Quran themselves. They go to Jum'ah themselves. But inside their heart, there's a lack of sincerity. Inside their heart, there's darkness. So what I'm trying to get out, the message that I'm trying to give you is that this is a person whose outward appearance looks like they're guided. So the appearance they give to people, they talk in a certain way, they dress in a certain way, they do certain things. Maybe they give charity, or they go to the Jum'ah, or they pray a lot at the masjid, or even at home. But inside their heart, they have anger, they have hatred, they have envy. Maybe inside the home, they treat their children badly, or they treat their family members badly, or they're treating the poor people badly. Maybe when they're in front of other people, they say good things. They seem like they're guided. They seem like they're pure people. But when it's not in front of people, it's behind closed doors, or it's with people that it doesn't really matter what their impression is coming out as, then their true face comes out, and they're a different person. Right? Have you ever met such a person? Maybe you have. Maybe you haven't. But you will. You will. People, let's not point fingers. People who give an outward impression of good. People who give an outward impression of being pure. Allah gives the parable in this surah, saying that these people who live in light, they live in a good environment, but they have nothing inside their heart. And they're running towards something that they feel is good. They feel like when they get there, they're going to be rewarded. I pray salah, I read the Quran, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I give charity. Maybe I post it on Facebook. Maybe I pray, only in front of people, or when I'm praying in front of people, I look very sincere. But when I'm praying at home, I'm pecking like a chicken. Like a chicken does what? It pecks on the ground. So when he does sujood, he goes down and comes up really fast. So the salah at home looks very different from the salah in the masjid when he's in front of people. He's very sincere, his eyes are closed, and he really looks like he's connecting with Allah. But then, he doesn't really connect with Allah. There is no connection with Allah. Allah talks about in other places in the Quran, so in Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah number 16, Allah talks about a person who, actually in ayah number 19, ayah number 16, Allah talks about a person who lights a fire. He lights a fire. When you light a fire, what happens? Everything around you is? Fire. It's lit up. It's bright. And then Allah, again, just like this ayah, Allah brings himself into the example. And he says Allah takes away his fire. And he's plunged into darkness. And the tafsir of that ayah has been like this, that it's because they think that they light a fire means they're doing good deeds. They're doing something that they feel is good. But then Allah takes away that light, takes away that fire, takes away that good from them, because there's no sincerity in their heart. What they're doing it for is actually to show people, I'm a good person. I give to the poor. I pray salah. I speak the truth. I read the Quran. Listen to me. Or maybe they're giving knowledge to other people just to seem like they're knowledgeable or wise. Or they talk about certain things in public just so that people will be impressed with them, or give them praise. You understand what I'm saying? Showing off, basically. Showing that you are a believer when you don't have sincerity in your heart. But in the night, in the darkness of the night, when they're praying, there's no connection to Allah. There's no talking to Allah. They don't connect with Allah. They don't really feel like they're a slave of Allah. All they're doing is, whatever they're doing is to show other people, to give the impression of being a believer. And then Allah talks about light in another place, and I'll come to that if possible, but it's another beautiful parable where Allah talks about lightning. What's lightning?
It's like electricity.
It's like electricity in the sky. So when there's lightning, have you ever seen a storm?
Yes.
You have, right? When there's a storm and lightning happens, suddenly everything is lit up.
I have seen
And you see it, right? You see in the darkness of the night, you're able to see the backyard, you're able to see the trees, you're able to see your car outside, and then the lightning goes away in a flash. And then it's all dark again.
It's like
Allah gives this parable as well. And we're going in a tangent here. We're just going off context. Just to give you an example of what Allah uses the word light for. So Allah says that person is like somebody who, when they're given good, when they're given light, they walk for a little bit. And then when it's dark again, they're what? They can't see anymore.
they stop.
But then with lightning comes what? Thunder. It's a loud noise. And Allah says this in the Quran, when the thunder happens, they cover their ears. They don't want to hear, they're scared, they're anxious. But does the lightning happen first or the thunder happen first?
Thunder.
The lightning happens first. Light travels faster than sound. It's a scientific fact. Light travels faster than sound. So first we see the lightning, then we hear the thunder. But when we hear the thunder, the lightning is gone. The lightning's not there anymore.
Like it's bad.
So exactly. So the parable that Allah gives here is that when light comes through the lightning, they're able to see and they're able to walk and they think that they're okay. But then the lightning goes away and the thunder happens and they're scared. It's dark and they're anxious. So Allah says it's like that person who I give a little bit of good to and then they're happy. But then when anxiety strikes them, they're anxious, they cover their senses, they don't want to see it. Allah, I can't take this. And the tafsir of that ayah, the scholars have said that this is Allah saying that when you don't have that connection to Allah, when you don't talk to Allah, when you don't really in the depths of the night, in the darkness of the night, if you're not connecting to Allah, when you're alone by yourself, if you're not talking to Allah, when you're alone by yourself, that sincerity in your heart that you show in front of other people is not really there, then you're like that person who, when good is given to them, they walk a little bit. But then when good is taken away, because they don't really understand what's going on, right? And they can't walk anymore. So coming back to this ayah, Allah says what? That this is a person that thinks that they're doing good. They think they're connected to Allah. They think that they're actually a pure person. But in reality, they are not. There is no sincerity. When they're alone, they don't talk to Allah. When they're alone in the depths of the night, they don't stand in salah when nobody can see them. Because that's what matters the most. How sincere are you in your ibadah when you're alone? When there's nobody watching, you know that nobody can see you. Are you doing bad?
Yeah.
Are you doing something you're not supposed to be doing? When nobody can see you, how much do you connect to Allah? Is the measure of your sincerity. Is the measure of your sincerity. Less in the depths of the darkness of the night and in the loneliest times when there's nobody around you, that sincerity is still not there. You understand? It's a frightening scene that Allah gives. And this ayah alone should be enough for every Muslim on earth to put some introspection into their heart, to look within themselves rather than judging other people, rather than thinking, oh, that girl doesn't wear hijab or that guy doesn't pray, or this person should be coming to the masjid doing Jummah. He says he's a Muslim, he doesn't pray. Every Muslim should start looking into themselves. Am I a person like this that Allah describes, where I am doing good in front of other people, but in the depths of the night, in the depths of loneliness, I am actually not that person. I don't connect to Allah. I don't have that link with Allah that I should have. That kind of introspection needs to happen for every single human being, every single Muslim on earth. You understand what I'm saying? Let's move on to the next parable. Who is this person? This person is surrounded, where is he? Is it day or night? In the middle of the sea? Was it day or night?
Night.
It was night.
Dark.
So Allah is saying that he's surrounded by zulumat. And zulumat, like I said, means darkness. But it also means evil. It also means wrongdoing. It also means injustice.
That means bad.
So this person is surrounded by bad. This person is surrounded by bad. So this example is talking about the person who is in a bad environment. They have the wrong kind of friends. They mix with the wrong kind of people. They're going to the wrong kind of places. They're watching the wrong kind of things on TV or online. Or they're reading the wrong kind of stuff. Or they're thinking about the wrong kind of things. And Allah says when this person gets sucked into the darkness, when he gets sucked into the darkness, when there's nothing, no light left around them, their parable is such that they get thrown deep into it, that they can't get out anymore. They get accustomed to certain behaviors. They get accustomed to certain words. They get accustomed to addictions like certain words and behaviors and substances, God forbid. Substances, the addiction to substances, addiction to alcohol, drugs, addiction to, other things online, addiction to movies or music or that party scene. And once they dig themselves deep enough, they get sucked in and they can't get back out. Someone who's addicted to alcohol keeps coming back to that alcohol.
Why?
It's just the way it works. It's such an evil thing that once you get addicted to it, letting go of it is very, very hard. It's very, very hard. Drugs are like that. Once you get hooked on it, you keep having to go back to it. You can't let it go. The point that I'm trying to make is this person is surrounded by darkness. They have the wrong kind of friends. The friends who, rather than leading them to Salah, is leading them to a party. Hey Zara, you don't need to go to Salah right now. Let's go party. Let's go hang out with friends. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. What are they doing? They're pulling you away. You chose those friends. You chose to go there. And then those friends start to pull you further and further and further away from Allah and your deen. And then you get hooked on things. You get trapped in things. And then Allah says that there's mawjum min fawqihi. More and more waves are coming on top. More and more, when you get addicted to drugs, when you get addicted to alcohol, when you get addicted to certain behaviors and things, go Zara. What happens? You get pulled in and you can't get out. You can't get out. There's no way for you to get out. But then Allah says something so beautiful. They're so beautiful. This is so beautiful. This person, like I was saying a little while ago, you shouldn't be able to see your hand in the depths of that darkness. But Allah says he can hardly see his hand. Like there's a little bit of light there that's still enabling that person to look at his hand and see it. And Allah is implying towards the light in the believer's heart. That light that Allah put in there. It's still there. And so at the beginning, when this person starts to go into darkness, they start to do certain behaviors. They start to do certain acts. They feel like, you know what, this is not okay. I need to get out. Just like this person, they're in the depths of the sea. They can't breathe underwater. They want to get out. And so that light is in their heart is telling them this is not okay. What you're doing is violating your soul. Allah says in Surah Al-Qiyamah, He uses the word lawwama. And He compares that, it's a connection to the Day of Judgment. Allah says the lawwama in a person, a lawwama is basically translated as guilt. What is it? Guilt. What is the feeling of guilt?
Like you've done something wrong when you know you shouldn't have done it.
Exactly, and you feel bad. Allah refers to that in Surah Al-Qiyamah, saying that I swear by that, because that is the ultimate proof that there is a Day of Judgment coming. That feeling when you do something wrong, you're going into the wrong environment, you're mixing with the wrong kind of people, you're doing the wrong kind of things, that feeling inside your heart that's telling you, you know what, this is not okay. I shouldn't be doing this. This is not okay. And so the people who listen to their lawwama are able to come back. But then some people, what do? They ignore it. It's okay. Or they justify it. I'm sad, I'm depressed. Or I'm in a bad situation. I need to relieve my stress. I need to do something to forget about all this. And so instead of turning back to Allah, they turn to substances. They turn to something that won't give them peace, won't give them happiness, but it sucks them deeper and deeper and deeper. And Allah says, that's how people lose their light. That's how people lose their iman. When they turn to anything else other than Allah in times of need, that light inside them gets dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. This person in the depths of the sea is just able to see that that light, their hand. Where is this light coming from? There's no light. There's no moon. It's in the depth of the sea. They can't see anything. There shouldn't be any light. But Allah says he can still see his hand. And Allah says that light is given to him by me. I give him that light. And if he listens to that light, if he thinks that, you know what, I still have that little bit of good left in me, let me turn back to Allah. Allah will save him from that situation and bring him out. But if they ignore it, then Allah says there is no hope for him.